What are three main things you need to stop doing this year, 2023, if you want to land a job as a Scrum Master or as an Agile coach? What are three main things? I want to talk about three things which are on the top list, and you are going to realize that many of you are falling victims of these three things. And at the end of this video, if you can follow this instruction, trust me, in less than no time, you are walking yourself to a Scrum Master job. Happy 2023. I'm super excited to see you in 2023, and also super excited to talk about this video today because this is what's going to change the rest of 2023. Because if we keep what makes every year new, it's not the fact that the date has changed, it's about you, right? Only people give time meaning. And I want you to give time meaning this 2023. So I'm going to talk about the three top things on my list, which I think that is keeping you from getting the job. The first thing on my list, which I think is holding a lot of people back, number one, is the first stop on my list. And if you're doing this, this is the reason why you are still chasing after a job and you not yet have one. The first thing is that stop chasing after a resume. Now, an average person think that when I complete my certification, is it PSM, is it CSM, the next thing I should go after is a resume, because I think if I have a good resume, I'll start getting interview, and when I start getting interview, and then I'll get a job. No, it's beyond that. And which is the reason why when you attend session where people just teach you and then help you with a resume and say, oh, just go start interviewing, is that easy? It's not that easy, trust me. Now, what is a resume? That's the first thing you need to understand. What is a resume? A resume is simply it's a list of things which you have accomplished. Right. A resume kind of just represent what you have accomplished, which means that you cannot defend what you have not accomplished. And remember that when you do PSM or CSM, no one teach you about what you've accomplished. What you're being taught is how to use the Scrum framework and how to use the Scrum framework, what it is about. But you're not taught how that experience kind of move with you from one company to another or from one position to another. So if you're working or if you're going after a resume, what you're doing is that you keep being that person when you're being asked a question. For instance, someone say, can you walk me through, let's say, all the different Scrum ceremony, or can you give me an idea on how your spring, or can you walk me through a spring as a Scrum Master? Then you notice that you you will start kind of saying that, oh, normally a spring should be 2 weeks, and a spring should start with spring planning, and then this is what will happen in the spring planning, and then after we go to a daily stand up, and this is what will happen in daily stand up. You are replicating the theoretical aspect of what you learn, which is an indication that you don't have any experience. If I say, can you walk me through your spring as a Scrum Master, or can you walk me through your day as a Scrum Master? Or if I ask you a question about spring planning, about daily stand-up, about review, about background refinement, about retrospective, my expectation from you is to replicate what you've been doing, which means that my spring normally start on a Wednesday. And on a Wednesday, we start up with our spring planning. And this is some of the things I do during my spring planning. And then after my spring planning, this is what I do. I follow up with XYZ. Now you're talking from experience. Now that experience is what makes your resume. So if you cannot effectively defend your resume, and which is why I always say that for you to know that you're ready for interviews as a Scrum Master, if I wake you up in the middle of the night and I say, okay, can you walk me through your sprint, or can you walk me through the different Scrum event? You need to personalize it. You need to know exactly what days are you having your sprint planning, what days should be the backlog refinement, what days should be the list and what days should you have your retrospective or your review. All of this need to be there. But then when you chase after your resume, you get a very good resume, you put out there, definitely you're going to receive call, right? Because no one can look at your resume and say, oh, this one doesn't have experience. But what happened if you sit in front of an interviewer, right? Okay. So before I go to number two, today is the 2nd of January, and we are starting a safe certification class today from 5 p.m. Central Time through 9 p.m. Central Time. So if you want to be safe certified, I think you still have a couple of windows to join that class. All right. And for those who want to get more of real practical experience, not someone that you call and you ask them questions and you ask them, oh, an interviewer just asked me this, can you tell me the response? No, we don't do that. We teach you how to be the person teaching people how to do what is right, right? So we get to in a more practical environment where you can close the gap. And if you're definitely new here, I encourage you to subscribe because every week we put at least 2 to 3 videos that help you kind of just close that gap. And we're more practical, more real with you. We do a balance. We answer questions in some of the questions, and then some just come to talk to you to give you what you're missing in the game. Okay, let's move to the second thing you need to stop doing. The second thing you need to stop doing, stop thinking you know your problem. Now, when many people call me or when I have the opportunity to pick a call, it's like, oh, let me tell you where my problem is. I got this right. I got this right. I got this right. I know this is the only thing I'm missing. Now, if you know that this is the only thing you're missing, then you should be able to solve that problem. If I know my problem, I can solve the problem, right? So I encourage you when you call, don't say, oh, I got this right. I know my resume is fine. I know this is fine, but I don't understand why. No. When you call for an expert, and which for you to even call someone, it means you believe in them. It means you've taken time. It means someone told you about them. So do your research before you kind of go calling. If not, you end up moving from one community to another and you get frustrated. Take your time, which also means that don't budget your thinking that, oh, I only have $500 to spend. I'm looking for someone that is going to take $500. Definitely, that's not going to get you to what you need. When you're looking, that will get you to what you want, not what you need. Now, for you to be able to accomplish your goal, you need to do what is needed for that goal, not what you want. If you do what you want, what is happening is that you're just accomplishing activities. You're not doing the right thing towards that goal. So whenever you meet an instructor or an expert, someone that you know that they can help you, the first thing you do to even understand if they're the right person to help you is to say, hey, look, I have a problem. I don't know, how can you help me? All right. Oh, have gone through XYZ. I don't know where the problem is. Can you help me? Now, the ability to ask questions that lead you to identify the problem is an indication that that person can help you. But then if the person say, oh, this is my problem, this is my problem. Now, the first thing you've done by doing that is that you blocked your mind from absorbing so many things because you think you already know them. And that might even be the reason why you're not going further in your interview process. And now, the third thing which I want you to stop doing if you want to get this 2023 is that stop chasing YouTube videos. It's not going to help you. Now, should you watch YouTube video? Yes. What exactly do I mean by stop chasing after YouTube video? Majority of people that need a Scrum Master job, they watch one video to another video to another video to another video. At the end of the day, they are as confused as even when they started, because this person is saying A, the other person is saying B, the other person is saying C. They don't even know what is right. And that is when, even when they have an opportunity to be an instructor, they start arguing. I watched this person and this is what you say, and now this is what you're saying. I don't even know which one is the right. So which one is right? What I watch. Okay, now this is my advice for you. You should have a standard, or you should have your own protocol. Your success is not what I tell you, it's what you believe in and what you personalize in, which means that your confidence is going to win beyond what you hear or beyond what other people tell you. Now, I might come on here every day and I give you videos from back to back from Mondays to Friday. But if you don't believe in them and if you don't make them your own story, there is no way that you can make use of them. So for all my students, what I advise them to do is that you should have your own version of what you call, this is my daily stand-up. And it's not going to be you narrating a story of what the Scrum Guide says. No, it's going to be about you personalizing it, you making it your own word. Let me give you an instance. Let's say you work as a nurse, or let's say you work as a nurse, right? And then you have a very tough day at work, and then you're having a conversation with another fellow nurse. Are you going to start using all the nursing terminology when you're having a conversation with them? No, it's just going to be a casual conversation because they understand exactly what you're talking about. So you don't need to go start explaining all the processes and all of that. But then if you're talking to someone that doesn't understand what you are explaining, you need to go into details. So when you're talking to interviewers, you're talking to people who understand the process. You don't need to go to detail. You just need to give them an idea. Let me give you an example. If I ask you about spring planning, right? Now, you're not going to say, start explaining me the theoretical aspect of spring planning to say, you know what, spring planning is meant to help us or come on with the work and other than you start explaining about, oh, the first thing I do is when I get into a spring planning, I do this, I ask my PODs, I ask my this, I ask the Scrum Master, the developer to do this. All of these protocols, do you need to know them? Yes, but is that what you should say? No. Now, if you say that, oh, spring planning is an event that helps us to plan exactly what we need to do, right? And the key goal is that we need to be able to estimate the right amount of work that we need to take and make sure that everyone participate and make sure that everyone have the right amount of work. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we are setting a goal and help everyone to focus on that goal. Now, with this summary, I've not gone to say, oh, the first thing, check with my PO and make sure my PO is doing this. No, all of those data is just an indication sometimes to understand that, oh, you definitely an amateur. When you kind of invest in yourself, right? When you invest in yourself and by having your own protocol, you know it in such a way that you're not convincing, you're just having a conversation. So learn in such a way that you start having conversation and not narration. Okay, so those are my three top things you should stop doing this year, 2023. If you want a Scrum job, number one, stop chasing after a resume. Number two, stop thinking you know what your problem is. Number three, stop chasing after YouTube video. Start creating your own plan. Now, when you create your own plan, now this is the advantage. You start evaluating what is missing in there, and now you have the ability to close the gap. Hope this was helpful. Happy Monday. Happy 2023. I'll see you along the way.